The Prime Minister, Commissioner, Brigadier, Commissioner, Commander, all our dignitaries here today, permanent secretaries, of course, members of the media, members of the public joining us, my colleague, Senator. It is a good day for Jamaica. This is not mine. This is yours, too? Okay. Just distracted me. Thank you. It's very kind of you. Thank you. It is a good day for Jamaica. It is a good day for all of us here. It is a good day for Jamaica. And on behalf of the government of Jamaica, I'm very, very pleased to welcome the recent update to the travel advisory published by the United States Department of State. As of today, May 29, 2025, the U.S. Department of State has upgraded its classification of Jamaica for the purposes of travel from level 3 to level 2. A classification shared by many much larger and more developed countries than ours. There is as close as Rep, Panama, and as far away as Spain, the UK, Germany, and others. They're all at level 2, so we are in good company. This improvement is a timely acknowledgement of Jamaica's continued progress in enhancing public safety as well as the travel experience for visitors. The improved level acknowledges even lower risk levels for visitors, because you would recall that we have shared previously, and Minister Bartlett would never forgive me if I did not remind, that Jamaica is rated as one of, if not the safest resort location in the entire Latin America and Caribbean region, with a Gallup rating of 0.01%. This is something to be celebrated. So as you know, these advisories, they are a U.S. government tool for advising their citizens. They provide their own public guidance, and they are reviewed regularly. At level 2, we understand that those reviews take place annually. So this review will be with us for the next year. I really want to take this opportunity, or at this time, I wish to acknowledge our appreciation of the continued positive diplomatic engagement that we've been able to undertake with our U.S. partners, and we remain committed to working through the challenges with them together. As you would be aware also, this administration has been working hard to make Jamaica safer for everyone. We have tripled our investment in our security forces, focused on more recruitment and better equipment, better technology, better training, better intelligence, a deeper focus on strategy, as well as our focus on violence prevention and the softer side, the social side. So as all of Jamaica reaps these benefits, so too will our visitors. And so we're pleased by and truly welcome this additional recognition of progress. I personally want to take this opportunity to commend Prime Minister Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, whose leadership has been more focused on national security than any other Prime Minister before. I want to commend Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, who has brought a level of drive and commitment to this sector, again, which has delivered a multifaceted and successful approach. I also want to salute 1,000 times over Commissioner Blake, CDS Weems-Gorman, and their teams, the men and women of the JCF and the JDF, and the wider security and justice architecture, all of whom have been playing critical roles in advancing safety, stability, and public confidence. The government of Jamaica remains engaged with our partners in Washington to ensure that future advisories are based on accurate data and are framed in balanced language. Jamaica continues to make significant strides in making our country safer for all citizens, I reiterate, and to offering a safer, more rewarding experience for the millions of travelers who choose Jamaica every year. I have another issue to raise, and this is the one on which Deputy Prime Minister will join me or will follow up after. And I must say that DPM and I share a particular relationship because of our cooperation and partnership, the links and the interconnectedness between foreign affairs and the international partnerships that support our national security efforts. You would be aware, I understand our special guest is joining us. Welcome, Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness. Welcome, sir. I just commended you for your leadership, by the way, and indicated that you have given more focus to national security than any Prime Minister before, and we are certainly reaping the benefits of same. So thank you for your leadership, sir. We recognize that yesterday there was a headline in a particular publication which generated significant public interest, stating that 4,000 Jamaicans were to be returned. Allow me to be clear that 4,000 Jamaicans are not being returned now. For some time, it has been in the public domain that the U.S. authorities had close to 4,000 persons in their records with final orders for deportation against their names. It is now our understanding that approximately 2,500 have been confirmed for removal over a period of time, to be determined by logistics, their own legal processes, and other factors. The return of Jamaican nationals is not a new development. It is not a new phenomenon. For decades, Jamaica has facilitated the repatriation of its citizens under established international arrangements. We receive our citizens when they are returned to us. Just as we expect, and we do, repatriate foreign nationals who commit serious crimes or breaches of our immigration laws, we respect the right of other countries to so do. As immigration policies continue to evolve globally, the government remains committed to honoring our international obligations while safeguarding national security and public safety. To support our returning citizens, recognizing that returnees or deportees, depending on the term that you wish to use, involuntary return migrants, if you work at my ministry, the government has expanded the National Reintegration and Rehabilitation Strategy. On May 5th, Cabinet approved the establishment of a National Technical Working Group on voluntary and involuntary migrants, recognizing that not only is the grouping not homogeneous in and of itself, we now have a subgrouping of those who are returning of their own motion, determining the circumstances in the U.S. to not be where they wish to remain, and those who are being returned, those who have the decision made for them. This technical group is chaired by the Planning Institute of Jamaica. Oversight is provided by the Ministries of National Security and Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. And the technical group comprises several ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as civil society partners. Its mandate is to coordinate reintegration services and to ensure that returnees are supported in a structured, sustainable manner. And this includes their reception, verification, health checks, security, vetting, and access to social and legal support. Where necessary, and I say this to citizens who are particularly concerned about those who return with serious criminal antecedents, monitoring and detention measures are in place. They will be applied. Again, stakeholders play key roles in helping us as partners in this reintegration and return process. And undoubtedly, there will be further updates on these matters. Jamaica remains committed, and the government remains committed, together with our partners, to treating all returnees with dignity and fairness while upholding our national security interests. The public will continue to receive updates from the relevant ministries as developments unfold. I wish to now invite Deputy Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Horace Chang to continue this intervention.
Thank you, my colleague, Minister John Smith. But allow me to recognize the entry of the Prime Minister and my leader, Honorable Andrew Holness. The protocols have been gone through. Recognize the full team of the Ministry of National Security is here, our Commissioner of Police, Brigadier Lloyd, Head of MOCA, the Colonel Edwards, and of course the Commissioner of Customs, who is now not only our Chief Revenue Collector, but a part of the Security Council for a reason that we'll mention as we proceed. Our Permanent Secretaries, and of course Minister Dennis Morrison, who chairs the event this evening. Indicate it's a day of some good news, and the Minister have indicated clearly and led on this issue, especially the impact of our travel advisory. But I will proceed on some other activities which are very good news today. As of today, the homicide rate in Jamaica is 43 points. The murder rate is 43.3% below what it was last year. That means we have reduction of some 210 murders compared to the period last year, that is January to May. This will be the lowest rate of homicide in Ireland since 1991, some 35 years back. Major crimes are down by 19.3%, and I indicate when we talk about that safe for the benefit of the wider public. My Minister of Tourism, of course, recognized it regularly, and so the Minister have done. What is called the crime victimization level in Jamaica is one of the lowest in the region. It's less than 20%. And that is what indicates random criminal activity. Home murder is part of organized criminal activity, which this government set out very early on in prioritizing and taking steps to correct. The projected rate for this year, if we continue as we are, will be 24 per 100,000, which will be the lowest since 1991. I indicate a small number yesterday. It was one of my police officers was projecting the last fortnight. We have had some 30 weeks below 20 and getting below 10 per week. Unfortunately, I'm from a constituency when 10 per weekend was a good number. The country is looking at 10 per week on a regular basis. The first quarter of 2025 had the lowest ever recorded since Jamaica Constabulary Force began keeping disaggregated data in 2001. Only 188 murders recorded in Q1, and if we continue, Q2 could be lower. The second quarter is on track to break that record. So far, with 2 months completed, there are only 87 murders have been recorded. With just 1 month remaining in the quarter, Q2 could end even at a lower rate than Q1. It should be noted that historically, the last month of this quarter, well, this month, in this quarter, May, has traditionally been the highest on a regular basis. In fact, it gave the police force many hours of planning and thinking as to what was the cause of it, because May just turned up every year over 100 murders. In fact, last year it was 134. We are now at 45, and we look to see if we can keep 2 days to go. 42, sorry. At 42, we will come in at below 50. And I say that with confidence because sometimes they are taught by others that we should not celebrate or take credit for this activity. This government, led by Prime Minister Andrew, decided the investment in security is a priority, and we took huge numbers. Given the socio-economic state of the country, the face of COVID and other activities, we still found over $50 billion to invest in security. In any democracy, with our socio-demographic conditions, that money could have been directed into what you might call popular issues. But we thought the public safety, public order, and the safety of Jamaicans, saving Jamaican lives as a priority. And we understood clearly and stated it very early. Public safety and public order is a foundation on which we can build a strong, healthy economy and a healthy society. And therefore, we made the investment and we are getting the results. If we had not indicated where we were going, it would be fair to say we got it by book up. This was no book up. This Prime Minister sat down with his cabinet and the security personnel planned carefully and outlined a plan in Plan Secure Jamaica. And I said over and over, while I was being beaten up on by all manner of sources and all manner of experts, that we wanted strong measures in the beginning to save lives. Within the process, invest in the security forces, the army, the police, and MOCA. And we indicated very early that we would take the police back from on-demand to establishment. They were below 11,000. We took them to 14,000. We recruited 6,000 officers and trained them even during COVID. We acquired additional space, and systematically decided how we'd get the establishment for the security force. We set out to bring the resources, not only human resources, but in training and technology. I think a number of people at least got an insight into the planning of this government when the police force, I think 2 years back, Commissioner, did the exhibition at the National Arena to demonstrate the use of technology in modern security operation. And the country could see that this police force was being transformed. The transformation program was alive, active, and well-resourced. I indicated very early that when we get to a certain level, and the equipment would reach a certain level as well, in every transformation, in every change, and in every development, there comes a tipping point, as the management person would say. We are not complete, but we are at the tipping point. And the police has demonstrated that, and we have had the outcome we refer to today. 43.3% below last year is a remarkable achievement, and we have to extend our commendation to the entire leadership of the security forces, but in particular to our Commissioner of Police. The police is the front line of law enforcement. The transformation is visible in all aspects of police work. You meet a police officer on the road, the uniform has changed, their transportation has changed, their communication has changed, their stations are a makeover. If you walk into one of our new police stations, you may not recognize it. We are making all of them modern police facilities. They are not quite all done, but we set about, and this is one I like to repeat, because when you get to the construction, the public like to look at political pettiness. We sent an engineer on the road to examine all 200 police facilities. A qualified engineer, a professional engineer who went and did a superficial early examination of all police facilities and classified them 1, 2, 3. If it's 1, it needed minor repairs, coat of paint, some plumbing, etc. 2, major repairs, and 3, demolish. And we have set about demolishing all those to be demolished. We have built, I think we have completed now 18 police stations. There are 2 to be opened in the next fortnight, and there are 6 under construction and 6 within the public investment appraisal, PIB, Public Investment Assessment Board, which is important to show the returns. And anyone who has seen the new ones will know, as I said, it's hard to recognize the police station. As I said before, the old method of finding a building, whether it was a bar, a shop, or a house, paint it blue and white and call it police station, was irresponsible. Policing is a professional activity. We design a police station for police officers. And if a small one you could look into as a model, if you're leaving Kingston driving down to Newgate for the weekend, take a look at Hopewell Police Station. You will not see a big book. You'll see a young officer behind a computer screen taking notes and doing what is required and being very, very pleasant. Not saying we're perfect, but we are very good and much better than we were today. If you drive to Savamar, you'll see a building that is impressive in all aspects, and it will be a police divisional headquarters. We may move an area headquarters there. We are doing the same in Spanish Town. I recall that distinctly, and I have to say it, I've never said it in public. I asked them to demolish the station because when I went there, the senior officer who was in charge of over 500 personnel, because this is the Spanish Town Division, in one of the highest crime years, to get into his office, he had to bend and creep into a little corner behind a desk. Literally. I didn't do much more of the tour. I asked the commissioner to examine how fast we could get that police station demolished. It is down, and it's not demolished, but we are building a new station that the officers can feel comfortable in. And it's in this parish of my Prime Minister. He can take pride in that. And invested heavily in the security. Another outcome of significance, which was very recent news as well, it's a good day. It was reported, and I must report a bit early, but we are dealing with that. But I think the country will be happy to know we intercepted 233 firearms coming to the country. Special credit to increase scanning at our ports. And again, it was the Prime Minister who introduced the Commissioner of Customs as part of our National Security Council, and has had the Customs working in tandem with our security forces, but applying all their knowledge and security, as well as they are responsible for the customs area to intercept those who seek to disrupt our society in all contraband, but in particular arms. And we do receive good cooperation from our partners, but in this shipment, there were 233 firearms. That is more than a company. That can equip more than a company of soldiers. That going on our streets is designed to create mayhem. The security force, working with customs and all agencies, including our partners, will track them down, will find them. These organizers are worse than the shooters. They must be taken off the street. There are 32 rifles and the rest were pistols. And the security forces with customs is still counting ammunition. Last thing I heard, at one I heard 40,000 counting, 50,000 counting, and there's more. That level of ammunition on the streets with these weapons designed to create mayhem by a distorted and cruel mind, and that must be stopped. The corporate public, of course, has to be credited. And let me emphasize again, this government recognizes all aspects of Plan Secure Jamaica with a comprehensive document to include security, legislation, and of course, social intervention. And the work of the CSSB and the police and their success has built confidence. Already for the year, we have seized 695 firearms. It's 80% of what was seized in the total in 2024. And 2024 was the highest we seized for a long time. In fact, for a very long time, we did 895. And we have seen increased seizure over the many years, but in the last 2 years, a very high increase. And that is coming from significant cooperation from citizens. When I get the report, I can say that clearly, and the police can confirm, we'll see, I get a report. Firearm, AK-47 and 10 rounds found on a targeted raid in a particular space. There was nobody arrested because the information went to the police by citizens, and they could raid a spot, a house, or institute, find the firearm, because it was they knew where to send the police. That is the result of very deliberate, sustained, and coordinated efforts by the law enforcement agencies in intelligence and in apprehending criminals. The entire success in both murder rate numbers, seizure of firearms, designed to reduce all of the violence in our community is a result of coordinated systemic policing operation as a result of the commitment of this government. We are resolute and committed to building out the security forces and maintaining momentum. Social intervention is very rarely mentioned, but we have an extensive array of interventions policy. The zones of special operation, very rarely alluded to by those who like to criticize, is a piece of legislation designed to provide security and bring social transformation. As we reduce the homicide rate, take the guns off the street, this Prime Minister will seek to scale up that operation to restore hope and quality of life to our challenged communities. The impact of this, of course, and it was always a reason, and I will not be going into it, is that we can see improvement in our travel advisory, just to confirm that. As we improve our security, the investment will increase, not only in tourism, but in all aspects of life. Small business people in challenged communities begin to invest, whether it's the bill shops, barber shops, hairdressers, all benefit, and this government is committed to ensure that we will have a safe community, public order will be good, and all Jamaicans can share in the development of our country. To confirm, and the last issue, as already indicated by my Minister of Foreign Affairs, the illegal returning migrants, American send them home. It has been an ongoing process. RMs, they are identified 2,500, and it will come over time, maybe 2 years. We are used to getting one ship or one plane load every month. So it's not new for us, and based on our cooperative agreements, it has been a smooth activity and has not created an issue, and we continue that. In 2023, we had 655. In 2024, we had 814. on 331. We have transition accommodation. A number may come without any connection. We take steps to ensure our citizens, when they come home, will welcome, and we look to how to will identify the challenges and deal with it appropriately. Yes, there are those who might come with a record. We'd also deal with that. In fact, we're looking at how we can introduce not only continuous police monitoring, but we are introducing very soon electronic tagging, so those who might be challenging to us, we find them. The police is involved in it. It is the returning of illegal arms from the United States is not something that just happens ad hoc. We have a system in place, technical working group outlined by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, so we can keep track of all personnel coming. Those who are just breaches of Immigration Act, we seek to help to readjust their settlement here and have them settle smoothly. Those who are involved in crime, we treat them as is required. So that is why I outlined in the recent developments in the area of security. I want to thank all of you, and you'll hear from my leader and Prime Minister shortly on a broader scale, who has set the policy framework in which we operate, that we can get the success we enjoy today. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Johnson-Smith. Thank you very much, DPM, for your comments. And DPM, while you were speaking, the Commissioner of Customs gave us some final numbers that she had. She had 74 rifles were recovered, 159 handguns, and over 40,000 rounds of ammunition. That's really great work, and we thank all of you for the work that you're doing. And obviously, this is the result of the investments that have been done into our security apparatus. And so with us, while the ministers were speaking, you would have heard that the Prime Minister, our Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, joined us, and he is here on this very, very wonderful Thursday afternoon, a Thursday afternoon with a lot of good news, and he is here to put all of that into context. So please welcome our Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness.
Thank you, Minister. Ministers of Government, the representative of the Chief of Defense Staff, Commissioner of Police, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is indeed a good afternoon. Jamaica has been faced with several challenges, indeed many challenges, but steadily, surely, we are overcoming these challenges. And today, I want to join the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Minister of National Security and all well-thinking Jamaicans in welcoming the announcement of the United States government, the decision to upgrade its travel advisory for Jamaica from a level 3 to a level 2. This is significant for Jamaica, and it is indeed an encouraging development, one that reflects the hard work and commitment and discipline that this administration has brought to bear in matters of national security and foreign affairs. This upgrade is not incidental. There are those who will seek to dismiss it or downplay it. But for those persons particularly affected in the tourism sector, for persons who are understanding of the impact of a negative travel advisory, the importance of this moment is well understood. It is the direct result of years of targeted policy implementation, investments in security infrastructure, and sustained diplomatic engagement. It signals to the international community that Jamaica is safer and a more secure destination, not only for visitors, but for residents, for citizens. Just a week ago, we had the privilege of hosting U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. And during his visit, our efforts in security reform, economic resilience, and law enforcement modernization was made clear. We took the opportunity to showcase how our government has been resolute in its mission to make Jamaica a safer, stronger, and more prosperous country. The Minister of National Security, the Deputy Prime Minister, would have shared an interesting statistic, but I want to repeat it so that the nation can be seized of this moment. In 2016, our national murder rate, which is the number of murders per 100,000, stood at somewhere in the region of about 49.6 murders per 100,000 Jamaicans. A figure that was deeply troubling and which placed us in the category of one of the highest murder rates globally. Today, I can report that based on the year-to-date data, Jamaica is seeing a 43% reduction in murders. In other words, we are 43% less murders today than we were last year. And if you annualize this, then we would have a murder rate of 24.3 per 100,000. So we have literally cut the murder rate in half. Murder is used as for Jamaicans at least, the metric for judging safety and security within the country. And if that is the metric, then clearly this administration has done a fantastic job in cutting the murder rate significantly. And when you look at the statistics, the last time that we were this low would be in 1991, almost 35 years ago. So it is an amazing achievement by all or any measure at all that we have managed to achieve this. This is not by chance. It is the result of strategic and unprecedented investment in national security. Since 2016, this administration has invested $87 billion in security, $87 billion, more than 3 times what was invested by previous administration before 2016. So we are investing roughly about $9 billion per year in security. This shows our intent. It's not just talking about security. It's not just praying about security. It is actually doing the work. It is actually making the effort and making the allocations for security. And that is yielding great results. The investment in security, as pointed out by the Minister of National Security, was not only in the JDF, where significant resources were placed in securing our borders, in acquiring offshore patrol vessels, maritime aircraft, radars, and other things which we don't give too much information on. It was not only the investment in the JCF, in the refleeting of the JCF, in the introduction of better communications, better forensic, greater investigation, the changing of the doctrine and leadership, the human resource development, increasing the complement of the JDF, which is now close to more than 8,000, moving it from about 5,000, and moving the JCF to its establishment from about 9,000 to 14,000 persons now in the JCF. Significant improvement in human resources as well. But I'd also want to point out that we have made significant investments in the Jamaica Customs Agency, both in terms of the improvement in their own systems and processes and human resource development, but also in the technology that they use, in striking greater partnerships with our international partners, and significant investment in greater scanning technology. And what you're seeing now with this recent find of using the remind me, Commissioner, of the last figures you gave, 179?
So it's 233?
233. 233 weapons discovered.
74 rifles
Mm-hmm.
and 159 handguns.
There you have it. 233 weapons of mass destruction for Jamaica. We were able to detect them using our scanning technology, and we were able to recover them. The investigations are ongoing, and I am certain that our security forces will track down, along with our international partners, those who were responsible for this. I want to pause here to make an appeal to our Jamaicans overseas and those who are here collaborating in the importation of illegal weapons. We will find them, and we will find you. And we are serious about this. The government has made an investment in not just equipment and technology and personnel and leadership, but we have made an investment in commitment. And I believe that this point must be driven home to all those who are of a criminal intent. We will meet your persistence with our commitment. We will strengthen our intention with even greater investment. We will overcome organized criminal enterprises in Jamaica. And what you're seeing happening is the government developing the capacity which we didn't have before. We now have the capacity to overcome organized violence and organized criminal enterprise in Jamaica. So effectively, what we have done is to change the risk-reward function, if you want to call it that, in crime in Jamaica. So for those people who are contemplating being involved in criminal activity, there is no reward in it anymore. Effectively, what you're going to see happen is that the price of a gun on the illegal market is going to skyrocket. But more than that, the risk of trying to import an illegal gun has increased. And so that is going to cut off the supply. And we're going to continue to push with greater technology, greater systems to discover them. And we're going to continue to push against the criminals who continue to organize crime. And we expect that we will be able to sustain this reduction in murders in the coming years and to make Jamaica the safe place that we know it will be. We have always said that if we were to reduce crime, you would see a significant increase in our GDP. Well, you're going to see that now. You're going to see, first of all, an increase in tourism. You're going to see a change in the nature of the tourism that we have. Immediately, you're going to see Jamaica becoming a place for conventions, a market which we had a foothold in, but not a strong foothold. Now we have the ability to market ourselves in this way. But more than that, Jamaica then becomes a place for community tourism because persons who would like to visit, they hear so much about Jamaica, but the travel advisors say, don't go here and don't go there. And who are the people making it impossible for us to develop the potential that we have in community tourism. It's the organized criminals preventing you from realizing your natural asset and true potential. So it is in our interest as a people to support the government's thrust in getting rid of the gangs and the organized criminals so that we can truly embrace this new Jamaica that is dawning and emerging for us to recognize and fulfill our true potential. But now is not a time for us to become celebratory, lest it leads to complacency. The violence challenge that we have, the crime problem that we have is multifaceted, and we have only dealt with one dimension of it. Granted, it is the main dimension of the problem, which is the organized nature of violence that we have in the country, the organized institutional violence, and that's what we're dealing with. But there is still what I term the social violence, the use of violence as a means of social interaction, the use of violence to resolve conflicts, the use of violence to discipline children, the use of violence in intimate partner relationships, and the use of violence to solve neighborly conflicts. We just saw yesterday a disturbing video of two neighbors in a conflict. One ended up being shot and killed. And as we reduce the murder rate and we reduce the organized violence, the social violence becomes now the center of focus and activity. But we long knew this. And so within our plan, Secure Jamaica, we had a strategy of how we're going to deal with this issue of social violence. And that is why we empaneled and had a long study headed by Professor Maureen Sams-Vaughan, and she has produced the report. The report is in the possession of the government now. We will bring it to Cabinet shortly, and once Cabinet has reviewed it, then it will be tabled in Parliament. This report, we hope, will trigger a national conversation about who we are as a people and why violence has become such a featured part of our national profile, and how are we going to change that. I mentioned violence in the disciplining of children, violence in just average general public interactions, violence in intimate partner matters, violence in family matters. Why is it that violence has become such a central feature in the Jamaican profile? And we have to change that. So this report, I'm hoping, will trigger certain actions. The government has already contemplated certain actions that we will have to take, particularly dealing with how violence is dealt with in the schools, how violence is dealt with at home, and how violence is dealt with our women and girls. We saw this really disturbing road rage incident, if you can call it that, where a nurse was terribly abused. And we then saw the brutal rape and, the brutal killing of a 9-year-old girl a few weeks ago. So these are all issues that the nation now has to focus on if we're going to truly keep this murder rate down and get to what we have always said, the regional average and below. The regional average is 16 per 100,000. There was once a time in Jamaica when our murder rate was 3%. Yes, in the 1960s. And we can get back there, right? This is not us. We have come to accept it in our music, we talk or we interact with each other, but this is not us. And we are now right on the cusp of correcting these age-old problems. And for those who are still skeptical, let me point out to you that Jamaica has been very successful in treating with the subject of violence. You may not reflect on it this way, but if I were to put it to you in the way in which I'm about to, you would probably understand. Between 1970 to the early 1990s, Jamaica struggled with political violence. struggled with political violence. But the country took instrumental action with legislation and institutions, and civic society rallied as well, and we were able to conquer this issue of political violence. Political violence is no longer a feature of our democracy. In the same way, we can conquer social violence. And it will require legislative changes, it will require institutional changes, and it will require a strong partnership with civil society to finally put this behind us. If we accomplish this as a nation, we are well on our way. We are right at the inflection point. So if we solve the fiscal issues in the economy, which we have built resiliency in the economy, which we are now doing, and then we solve the issue of violence, ain't no stopping us after that. So we are on the move, Jamaica. We are on the move. So I just thought that I would place all of this in context for the nation to appreciate where we are in our state of development. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Prime Minister. And I know many of you from the media have to go and file your reports. It's a little bit after 5 p.m., but we will take a few questions from the media. All right. There's no Naomi today. All right. So please remember to say your name and which entity you are with.
Good afternoon. My name is Liveran Barrett. I'm with the Gleaner Company. I'm with the Gleaner Company. I wanted to ask a question of the Minister of National Security and, by extension, maybe the Commissioner. And I also have a question for the Prime Minister. In relation to the Minister of National Security, Minister, can you indicate whether or not the operations yesterday in relation to the guns, can you say where they were shipped from, where in Jamaica they were headed, and whether or not there has been any arrest? That's one. And then for the Prime Minister, there has been some claims that the MP Donovan Williams has acknowledged that the company at the center of the drill issue, that he is holding some shares on trust. He has not said who he's holding the shares for. There is a claim that this is in breach of the new Companies Act regulations, which speaks to the ultimate beneficial owners of shares. I wondered, Prime Minister, against that background, if you have sought an explanation from MP Williams as to why he is refusing to say who he is holding the shares for, given the concerns that it might be in contravention of the law. Those are my questions.
All right, DPM, you want to take the first question? I figure it's a very sensitive investigation, but you can say what you can.
I'm not taking the Commissioner. We would not answer that question at this stage. This kind of activity is at a very sensitive stage of investigation. There's 2 days out, and we have to do much more to find the individual. The more we talk about it, the less likely we are to find him. So we keep it still quiet. In fact, too much information has already gone out.
All right.
Laverne, I preface my answer to say, please accept the answer I'm going to give you, which is that MP Williams has advised me that he has filed suit on the matter. And so I'm very cautious to speak on these matters that are before the court.
All right.
Good afternoon. Mahiri Stewart from Nationwide News here. Question to the Prime Minister. The opposition PNP has given the government, I believe, a 72-hour ultimatum to rescind the appointment of Dennis Chung and his appointment to the FID. My question is, what's the government's response to that call?
Would you, PM, I can take that too. All right. Just to note, and I got some questions from other members of the media in relation to that appointment. Every single senior appointment in government goes through a process. There is a process that we go through. The position is advertised. Individuals apply. There is a panel that's put together that shortlists candidates. And then there is an interview process that takes place. And there is scoring. The members of the committee score each of the persons. And then they make a selection. So there is a process that would have been followed. And from all the information I've been given, that process was followed. And so, we may have issues or not, and some people are celebrating the appointment, and some are not. But the reality is that as government, we have put in place particular systems, especially in the hiring of senior government officials, and those processes were followed. If you have something to say it was not, then tell us that. But the process, as far as what we have the information on, that process has been followed. And I'm answering you the way I answered that other reporter who spoke to me earlier today.
Anthony Lug, Television Jamaica. Commissioner Dr. Horace Chang, the reduction in murders coincide with the increase in police fatal shootings. Some continue to question these figures and are making claims about a killer squad in the security forces. Could you respond to those claims, please?
You mentioned inner squad. I don't know from where that comes, right? But that's absolutely not how we operate. We have no such thing. As a matter of fact, the JCF of today, if you notice, there's no one individual, there's no one formation, there's no one name. The name brand policing era has gone. What you hear is a Jamaica Constabulary Force. Thank you. Secondly, I went at length in one of my articles to outline the various oversight bodies around the JCF. And I must say that we probably have the largest number of oversight body in any police organization in this side of the world. It means, therefore, the things that sometimes people say, it defies logic. It defies logic. We just have a seizure of 233 weapons, over 40,000 rounds of ammunition and counting. I don't know what we think those things were for. This is what my men and women are up against every single day. Every single day. We have a country where year after year we have over 1,000 people murdered on our streets. These are the guys with the brains that tell them that it is good to murder someone on camera in broad daylight. These are the same guys using the same brain when we tell them, if we are coming for you, lay your weapons down. But it surprised some of us sometimes that these persons would not turn their weapons against the police force, members of the security force. And so I find it difficult for us not to understand what is logical and quickly push something that is as illogical as that. With the level of oversight that exists within the JCF, even if we had the intention of doing what some people say we would do, and when you look at the results of these investigations, then it's either those oversight bodies not doing their job, or the situation that is painted is not exactly as it is. And this sometimes forms a significant distraction to my men and women when they are out there, facing these individuals on a daily basis. And we have to be careful when we say these things, because at the end of the day, there's a thing that we call self-preservation. And when you get police in self-preservation mode, it is the citizens who suffer. Because if every time you are up against these individuals, these hardened criminals who are not afraid to murder a 9-year-old, and then you become the victim every time, then the next time when you are to respond, that is in the back of your mind. It is hard work. It is hard work to remove that level of doubt from my members, to give them the confidence to go out there and face these challenges every day. And so we can't do without that type of narrative. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Right. Thank you, Commissioner. Okay.
This question, Mahir Stewart from Nationwide News. One more question. So, 33 guns have been seized, which means 33 hands are now empty that were expecting to have those guns and commit.
No, it's more than that. Let me give you the numbers.
Oh,
I'm going to give you the numbers again. 74
233.
rifles, 159 handguns.
Yeah, so 233 guns have been seized, which means those are 233 hands that don't have those guns that would have if it wasn't found. In terms of the history, where does this rank among gun finds so far in Jamaica's history? And how much do you think this will play a role in the reduction in murders and major crimes you've seen so far?
Well, it is certainly, I'm tempted to say it is the largest. It is the largest, still doing our checks, we believe so. So I'll be cautious and say it is certainly one of the largest that we have seen. Certainly one of the largest. And as the Minister rightfully mentioned, so far this year, so last year was a record-breaking year in terms of firearm recovery, 833. So far this year, although only 5 months in the year, we are 83% of the total figure for last year. And these are not only by large seizures like this. It is actually police facing people in the communities and disarming gang members in communities. And so the work, these are the manifestation of what is happening by our men and women out there on the street. Thank you.
Thank you.
An important point to be made. A part of Plan Secure Jamaica was to ensure that the organized criminal gangs did not have the main instrument of violence, which in Jamaica is a firearm. And we did several things to achieve this. First, we had a change of the legislation, which introduced minimum mandatory sentences. We had a gun amnesty, which we draw a line to say everyone who is in possession of an illegal weapon, you have an opportunity to turn it over without prejudice. Then we strengthen our relationships with our international partners. The United States put in a special prosecutor. There was a strengthening of the relationship with the JCF. And what's it called? The fine? Right. We established the firearm. Right. FNID. We established FNID. We are about to finalize and sign the Customs Mutual Assistance Agreement, which will improve the coordination between our local customs and U.S. Customs, which will then begin to really tighten the contraband and illegal weapons coming into the ports. And we made investments in scanners. We are programmed to make more investments and to change the nature in which the scanning takes place. I won't go too much into that, but we also made some personnel and institutional changes, and we're strengthening the Jamaica Customs. I want to, at this point, I think the police has gotten a lot of congratulations and commendations. We must now give some commendation to both MOCA and to Jamaica Customs, because they have been working quietly behind the scenes in the background to do the intelligence, the coordination, all the work that is happening to be able to begin to find these weapons, to detect them, and to recover them. Again, I want to use this platform. I don't like to say I'm warning. I'm giving advice to those who the advice applies to. Don't bother with it. We will find the guns and we will find you. I've always said it. Before, our capacity was here and the problem was here. Our capacity is now here, and we're going to drive the problem all the way down.
Right, thank you, PM. We can only take 2 more questions.
quickly. I want it to be clear. There's an assertion that some comments made by Mr. Dennis Strong in relation to the Prime Minister gives the impression that he is conflicted or he is biased. I wanted the government to respond to that particular assertion.
I have not seen those assertions, so I can't really comment on that. What I do know is that if you think about Dennis Strong, and I haven't really done any research or anything, but I remember seeing him go into National Solid Waste Management Agency, and he did a fantastic job, and he had no experience, I believe, in National Solid Waste, right? And he did a fantastic job when he became chair there. And so I've seen a gentleman who has excelled in everything that he has done. And I'm sure I have confidence in the team that does the interviews, that selects these individuals. We keep saying it is a process. No one just wakes up and a minister calls and says, here is a job for you. It cannot work like that. There is a process where persons apply for a position, interviews are done, there is a criteria that is set in terms of what you want and the competencies you want, and then a selection is made at that point. And so that is what has happened in this case, and as I've said, if you have other information contrary to that, please let us know. Right. Last question?
Yes, last question.
Who are you directing?
Last question. Commissioner, could you say why the media and the public are not shown the images of these firearms when of this nature, when seizures of this nature happen, please?
I'm very happy you asked that question, because the seizure is just a catalyst to a larger operation that you may not be privy to. And so these are transshipment activities, meaning that they affect more than one countries. And so we have relationship across. So the investigation is a broad investigation, and it needs time, we need space. And so sometimes just the mere communicating that information too early compromises the operation. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you to the media. Again, this is another week where we bring our ministers, including the Prime Minister, and they're here answering the questions that you have posed to them. And I really want to, at the end, continue with the celebration of the change in the advisory. And I just got this quotation from Adam Stewart, the head of the Sandals Group, and this is what he said. This is more in relation to the improvement in Jamaica's advisory. Adam Stewart writes, "This is more than a meaningful update. It's a powerful affirmation of what travelers, travel advisors, and the people of Jamaica have always known. Jamaica is one of the safest, most vibrant, and genuinely welcoming destinations on earth. What makes this island unforgettable is its people, their warmth, resilience, and deep pride in sharing their culture and home. This renewed guidance plays an important role in restoring global confidence. And as always, we look forward to welcoming travelers from around the world with open arms." And that's from Adam Stewart, the executive chairman of Sandals Resorts International. We are celebrating. It's a day to celebrate. We have a lot more work to do, but as you can see, you have ahead of our government a prime minister that is willing to put in the work to make the changes that need to happen, and a cabinet that's solidly behind him. And so as we celebrate this today, we know there's more work, but I am confident that we have the right team in leadership across these critical agencies to take us to where we know this country can be. And as I end today, as always, I say to you, we'll see you at the next cabinet press briefing. And of course, God bless Jamaica land we love. Thank you all. Choose Jamaica.